Greetings again from the Boogie Down, South Bronx. This is Jeffrey Cortez reading another chapter. That'll be chapter 23 from my book, Memoirs of Pastor Rajatabla, Pentecostal Private Eye. So let's see what chapter 23 brings us. This one is Doc DM and the Lord of the Dance. And the entry scripture is from Psalms 149, verse 3. Let them praise his name with dancing and make music to him with timbrel and harp. Okay, so let's see how this chapter starts. Dr. Bishop Dave Mohammed, nicknamed Doc DM, had a large congregation consisting of folks that were raised in very conservative Pentecostal churches as well as those with a non-church background. He was the love product of a Muslim father and Jewish mother. In his early teens during the 60s, he began experimenting with mind-altering substances. He became lost in the streets using anything that would alter his consciousness, including sniffing glue. One afternoon, there was an open-air street evangelistic service. A little amused during a brief lucid moment, he approached the proselyting event. Running through his pockets, he realized that he had ran out of bamboo paper and asked one of the older women giving out gospel tracts for one of them. He rolled up his weed using the gospel tract and began to light up and puff. When he saw the smoke form words in front of him, they were written in midair in a type of Spanglish, but a blend of Hebrew and Arabic. Was a message about God who so loved him and that did not want him to perish any longer. Doc DM asked the lady who was distributing literature for prayer. She touched his shoulders and began praying in what he thought at first was celestial tongues. It turns out that she enjoyed praying in Castilian Spanish poetic style whenever she was moved by anything or moment she thought was God sent. He went on to enroll in a faith-based rehabilitation program and received much support from the Spanish Pentecostal church. Once he completed his program, the church offered him a custodial job, which he was grateful for. There he was discipled and as well as schooled in ministerial studies by a nearby African American seminary. Doc DM then started a ministry from scratch with the church and the seminary's blessings. Over the years, his pioneered church grew immensely, but something disturbing recently started causing older members from his congregation to leave. Rumors going around nearby religious communities was that he was turning his church into some sort of rowdy disco dancing club. One of the older members of Raja's church was concerned that their son, daughter-in-law, and children were caught up in this cultic type of heretic environment. Another concern was that the manifestations were akin to the historic, dangerous dance mania epidemics that appeared centuries ago across mainland Europe. Raja's older church member pleaded with him to please visit the church and retrieve the family for some cult deprogramming. So now Pastor Raha writes in his journal, which he has named Tabla, Querida Tabla. Today was a rather interesting stealth assignment into a potential Jonestown situation. There were alarming stories traveling through the doctrinally correct grapevine that a sinister activity was occurring inside Doc Dave's Mohammed's church. As I shook off the shared anxieties, I came into his sanctuary with an open mind and heart, still guarded with the word, with the sword of truth. After listening to the powerful message delivered by a true master wordsmith, the church started an end of the service worship time. My skin was invaded by goosebumps as I heard young voices rushing down the aisles, praising Allah, Yeshua, Jehovah, and dancing. Doc DM invited more children to come, and they came dancing while holding hands. Then he invited the elderly. They came and danced like children. And then the handicapped were invited to come and dance. So there they were, folks of different ethnic groups, backgrounds, and disabilities dancing. Children dancing in circles holding hands. Then I saw Doc DM take off his blazer, take off his necktie, unbutton his neck buttons, and his heavy set body flew from the elevated pulpit and landed on one knee on the floor, and opposite arm extended behind him like a superhero. I was in awe as I watched him dance recklessly and gracefully while looking up toward a greater awe. Something bigger than my heart and lungs felt like it would joyfully explode. As I stepped out of the church, I saw some of the brothers and sisters that had conveyed to me their concerns regarding Doc DM's new directions. They asked my opinion regarding the scandalous dancing. I told them that I was still processing, but I had to tell them that I felt emotionally uplifted. Also impressive was that nothing in their sanctuary needed picking up or repaired, unlike some churches I had visited where it seemed like a gigantic Beyblade destructively spun through. Regarding their concerns about Allah being allowed into the Lord's temple, they seemed to be unaware of the history of the name. It is an Arabic generic word, the same way that the English word God is a generic word for deity. Allah was used ages before Islam came into the scene. Then I used the example of the Spanish word Dios. Dios isn't necessarily an evil word nor a counterfeit God just because it is used by thousands of Hispanic Latino drug cartel members. It was an unfortunate comparison, but I think they got the point. Anyways, tonight, Tesoro, my wife, got up and caught me dancing while singing Spanish Pentecostal ballads to God. I told her how I was so sleeplessly moved from what I witnessed that I had to get to the living room for some consecrated privacy. As my wife, Tesoro, started to go to bed, I asked if she would like to join me in my late night worship dance. She turned around, looking at me, and started making some breakdance moves and spitting out some hip-hop lyrics, which she knows I personally loathe. Then she proceeded going back to bed, and I thought, you know, Lord, she did sound kind of good. So that's the end of chapter 23. I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to purchase a copy of my book, paperback or Kindle, you could go to Amazon and just look for the title. It's written below, the descriptions of the intent of the book is also written below. You could also purchase as a pickup from Barnes & Noble's website. All right, and bendición y bendiciones. Bye-bye.